The Master Phil in Your Corner podcast is brought to you by philross.com. Books, videos, Master Phil's survival strong living supplements, as well as self-reliance and performance enhancement presentations. It is also brought to you by the Body Bell Method, workshops and certifications, the world's only kettlebell, bodyweight, and dynamic tension system that carries continuing education credits for trainers, instructors, coaches, doctors of physical therapy, and chiropractors. In person and virtual options are available. Please visit bodybellmethod.com. Greetings and welcome to another episode of Master Phil in Your Corner. This is episode number 138, and we're going to be delving into the new bill that's being proposed by the Democrats in Congress that's going to yank away the SROs from our children. And here we have a very recent repeat offender here on the show. Everyone, welcome Alex Bauer. How you doing, Alex?
Good morning. I love that repeat offender.
Yeah. Hey, listen.
Love that.
We wind up having these guests, and they're so great. We have to have them on again, and there's so many things that we can discuss.
Yep.
Things that when I got this into my hands, I looked at it, I go, I have to bring in Alex on this. And it's funny, we just had an episode a couple episodes ago, but this was just, I can't believe what's going on. Now, in the wake of Charlie Kirk and this tragedy and everybody, focusing on that, we have this bill. It's called Counseling, Not Criminalization in Schools Act. And just by the names here that put this thing forth, Ayanna Pressley, Ilhan Omar, Chris Murphy, Elizabeth Warren, blah, 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 blah. What they're trying to do is prohibit federal funds to schools that have SROs. Let's talk about
Yeah. I mean, it's not surprising. Let's be honest. This is
Yeah.
not surprising. And they also love to sneak these things in when there are big things in the world happening so that you're
Yep.
not paying attention. And when you showed this to me, I think you said, like, I have this big thing. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. And we're in Jersey. I
Yeah.
feel like it's a big thing every day.
Right.
So I'm like, okay. And it was a late night. I looked at the next day and I started to look and I'm like, wait, what am I reading right now? Like, what? And I really needed to digest it because I had literally just gotten off the phone call, believe it or not, with another mom who is fighting her school district because they want to take away 3 of their officers. And she's, it's a large district. She's like, we need those officers. We need them to keep our kids safe. And, we can't just deal with 2 or 1. We need all of them. Right. And so now they're talking about taking away all of them for the whole state. And I just don't understand where their priorities are at. I mean,
I
the
do.
money in the bank. Well, okay,
Yeah.
fine. We do know where the priorities are. But the fact that they would just put this out there and say this and basically admit that the money in the bank is more important than the safety of our children, we can't allow this to happen.
Yeah, it's the name of this bill is the Counseling Not Criminalization School Act, HR 2739. This, and of course, no surprise that our New Jersey constituents like Bonnie Watson Coleman is behind it, and of course the illustrious Senator Cory Booker, otherwise known as
Surprise!
Otherwise known as Sparks. I wonder how wide he's going to make his eyes when speaking to this. It's crazy. This is it's just insane. This was put forth initially though prior to this, and Bowman was involved and Pressley, who are I believe they're no longer in Congress, but of course Cory Bush too. I have a whole list of people. I'm just going to read these people real quickly who are involved in this. Ayanna Pressley, Massachusetts. Jamal Bowman, New York. Ilhan Omar, Minnesota. Shocker. Suzanne Bonamici, Oregon. Cori Bush, Missouri. Tony Cardenas, California. Troy Carter, Louisiana. Sheila Charlifis McCormick, Florida. Ugh. Yvette Clark, New York. Raul Gurjalia, Arizona. Sheila Jackson Lee, Texas. Pramila Jayapal, Washington. Hank Johnson, Georgia. Sydney Kemlager, Dove, California. Barbara Lee, California. Summer Lee, Pennsylvania. Oh, what a shock. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, New York. Mark Pocan, Wisconsin. Delia Ramirez, Illinois. Shri Thanadar, Michigan. Rashida Tlaib, another shock, Michigan. Nadia Velasquez, New York. Bonnie Watson Coleman, New Jersey. That's the one, New Jersey. Frederica Wilson, Florida. Wow. You ever seen her with the cowboy hat? She's a piece of work. On the Senate side, co-sponsors, Chris Murphy, Connecticut. He's the lead sponsor. What? I mean, didn't we have a little incident up there in Connecticut? Just a little one. Elizabeth Warren, Massachusetts. Corey Spartacus Booker, New Jersey. Ed Markey, Massachusetts. Chris Van Hollen, Maryland. And Senator Ron Wyden from Oregon. So this is the list of usual suspects. Of course, the NJEA is fully behind this too.
Of course, of course. Sounds like a really like a winner list, you know?
Yeah.
That sounds like a list of winners. You know what was shocking? It's either some of these names, I'll be honest, some of these names I have not heard of,
Yeah.
but that in itself is shocking because that just proves that you have absolutely done nothing to help, anything. And then it's either that or I've heard them because they are so bad and what they stand for is so bad that you've heard, you know of them or you've heard them, and that is just like unbelievable. I mean, Booker, don't even get me started with him. He shows his priorities. AOC, come on. I mean, they show our priorities all the time, and it's not for the health and well-being of our children. We have been shown time and time again that affirming things through counselors, therapists, that's not the way. I mean, yes, can it be helpful in some circumstances? For sure. And should we have them in schools? Sure. Why not?
We do.
But
We have them
that
in
should not,
schools already.
we already have it in
We
schools.
have
Correct.
them.
We have it. And what they're doing, they're affirming mental illness. They're not showing them proper consequences. They're not showing them how to be respectful young adults, right? Or young children, depending on the age in school, sure. And that's what we need to get back to like 80s and 90s parenting and schools, okay? In some aspects that we hold these kids accountable. Yep. And we show them between right and wrong, and they should be learning to respect authority. Police officers or school resource officers should be at school. We have wonderful ones in our town. I'll tell you what, the kids love them. Yep. They respect them. They look forward to being there with them. And I'll tell you what, we actually had one of our school resource officers saved a child's life.
Yes.
On school grounds. And I'm sure there's a ton of these stories, but I'll go with this one because it happens in our town. We have very small schools. We have two elementary schools, K through 6, and then one high school, 7 through 12. We're not regionalized. And there's not a lot of great parking, I'll be honest with these. I know the town. Any of them. There's none. And so we have this like special way of pulling in and pulling out. And, some of the parents do not listen to that. And he was there talking, keeping an eye on the kids, talking to some of the parents. And out of the corner of his eye, noticed a toddler. And you know how fast toddlers are.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, man, they are so fast. It's like they're moving before they even realize that they're like they want to move. Right?
Remind me to tell you about an experiment when you're done with this.
Okay. Yeah. So this toddler moves, and he quickly moves like out of the corner of his eye, to grab this child and miss it. The car that was backing up, that's not supposed to be backing up between 3 and 3:30, missed the kid like this. And we've actually seen the replay because, there's cameras, and how fast he moved. That would have been a really awful turnout.
Oh,
There's
oof.
no way this little 2-year-old, there's
Yeah.
just no way. There's
No
just
way.
no way this 2-year-old has survived. And, this just comes from experience of being, a retired police or retired army, or, whatever that they did. And their reflexes are so fast. I dare say as fast as a mom's, maybe, or a dad's, but definitely mom's.
Yeah, yeah.
But, this is just one example. Why are we going to take away somebody who's just adding this extra level of safety to our children and makes us feel better? The way the world is happening right now, I smile when I drop my kids off at school every day. Big smile on my face. Hi, officer. And we say hello, and I feel so good about that. Why are we going to take that away for somebody who's just affirming bad behavior or mental illness
Yep.
and putting our kids in a worse situation? But I want to hear your
Yeah.
story.
Okay. Two. Well, actually, kind of two of them, but this is just
Okay.
a nice little anecdote about infants and not infants, but toddlers. There was an experiment done several years ago, a few decades, where they wanted to see how much energy toddlers had. So what they did was they had Olympic athletes following them around. Within 2.5 hours, they were exhausted. So it's a ridiculously tough job. So for all you moms or dads out there running around chasing those kids, it's tough. I get it, and it's been proven. The other thing is that in the wake of Sandy Hook, I tried to put forth the officers, getting the SRO officers, police presence at the schools. And again, I also had worked in the school as a coach, so I know all these ins and outs and security breaches of the whole place.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, very concerned about it. And my pleas, my words fell on deaf ears. Then Parkland happened, and I'm like, I'm not taking this laying down. And I went full force on social media, so bad that people were showing up in droves to the Board of Ed meetings. I was like leading the charge on social media. As a matter of fact, I was so hardcore on it that the superintendent asked me, because I put forth a plan. I put forth a plan at one of the meetings, and the chief of police at the time was in the audience. I put together a 10-point plan. Uh, I don't know if you know also, but I used to be a professional bodyguard and a bouncer and so forth. So yeah,
I couldn't tell.
it's just all those little things. So,
I
so
feel like you have your hands and feet and everything. It's cool.
yeah, I'm just it's all related to this stuff.
Yes.
So, so she hit me up and said, "Hey, Phil, can you lay off a little bit? We're going to work with you, but I'm getting hammered. Can you tone it down a little bit?" I said, "Okay, you know what? I'll take a respite, but you have 2 weeks." And within 2 weeks, start implementing a plan. And in the interim, the chief of police had called me up and said, "Hey, look, I really like your plan. Let's put something together." So we put something together with his stuff, my stuff, and it got implemented. And there's no way that I'm going to give up on having those SRO officers in the school. Look, when I drop my kid off and I see those police officers out there, and I know that they're in the hallways and at the football games and the basketball and whatever else, I feel comfortable. The other thing is that when one of the women had an issue with with us having police with guns in the school. And I go, listen, and this at the Board of Ed meeting, I go, the world's not all rainbows and unicorns anymore, okay? And I asked, I go, do you take your children to the airport? Do you go on trip? Oh yeah, yeah. So are they traumatized by seeing a TSA agent? No. The other thing is that an SRO becomes part of the community, and they're a liaison between the children and the community. And they get to know what's going on. They get to know who to look out for. They get to know where potential issues may arise. I mean, there's so many benefits to this. The only thing that I can see that these people want to do is sacrifice our kids so that there's more shooters and that they have a reason to try to take our guns. That's the only
I
thing I can.
yeah. I agree with you. There's definitely an agenda there. because it really, if it came down to the ultimate safety of our children, everyone would be on board with this. They would not even be, this would not even be brought up. They would
Right.
not be doing this. And, that's a very good point, what you said. I mean, think about it. We have DARE officers that
Yeah.
come into the school. They don't have any problems with the fact that they have their guns on them. Anytime they're stopping by for any other event, they have their guns. They have no issue with this. It's just because, a lot of times they like to yell about gun control, things like that. Let's remember, this is not Joe Schmo down the road that I hired to be the school resource officer. This
Mhm.
is a retired police officer. This is retired military. This is somebody that has that experience, and they are fully trained to be this person.
Yes.
And our children love them. They
Mhm.
respect police officers. They respect the army, the military, and they know that this is what this person is there for.
Yes.
And they really enjoy them. So I think that's great. And you had brought up Sandy Hook. I lived in Sandy Hook actually for 2 years,
Wow.
and my eldest daughter went to that elementary school. And we did move back to New Jersey. I think it was 2 years, I want to say, before the shooting there. Something that I distinctly remember about that school was I could not get into that school for anything.
Yeah.
There was double doors and they were locked. And even if you were dropping something off, they would let you into that sort of middle vestibule there, but you really weren't going into the school.
Yeah.
And what happened still happened. And so why wouldn't we want officers there? If
Yeah.
that deters somebody in the slightest bit, the littlest bit, it's worth it.
Yep.
And why isn't our children, them and their safety, that important? It is. So this is something that we need to rise up against this. I
Mhm.
expect everybody, as soon as this gets out there, to make phone calls and emails, and we'll get that together. We'll
Yeah.
do a call to action so that, you don't have to think about, oh, what do I say? Or what do I,
No.
we'll get that all
Yeah.
together
Let's
for
put something
everybody and
together.
put it out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely will. Just like all of our other call of actions.
Mhm.
I get it. Some people get a little stressed out. I don't know what to say, or I don't know the points. We'll do that
Flip the
for you. We'll
script.
make it easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll make it easy. But when they hear from everybody that this is important and we can't let this happen, they're going to feel it. So it's important that we don't just sit back and let it happen to us. We
No.
have to stop letting things happen to our
Yep.
kids.
Here's the thing. If they want to go and remove all this, and you know what? Get rid of all of your security. Get rid of your security. Why? You're more important than my kid? No, you're not, pal, or woman, or whoever you are. You're not more important than my child. And and
Right.
and these people, they'll protect their money, they'll protect themselves, but hey, we can't protect our kids. This is complete lunacy. And here's another thing. There's a lot of issues going on in our country. Why are these people sitting here and wasting our time and effort on ridiculous nonsense legislation like this? They should be focusing on solving issues in our country, not creating more. So,
Right. Well, and not for nothing, with the comments that I've seen come from teachers in the schools, especially about Charlie.
mhm.
I think I would like a sane person in that school around my children.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, I said
Yep.
it, but it's true. I
Well,
mean, these
why are you
comments that we've
apologizing?
seen, well, but some
I
people
know,
are
I
like,
know.
oh, not all teachers like that. But if I saw, first of all, if I saw any of the teachers make these comments from my kid's school, I would have driven down there, pulled out my kids immediately, and said, absolutely not. I don't trust you around my kids. And how parents are sending their kids to school with teachers posting this, I don't care that it's on their private Facebook page. You
Mm.
took a job to protect children and to be a certain way. You should not be posting these things on your, I don't care where you're posting it. It's
No,
inappropriate. It's
100%.
inappropriate. You're around children. You're supposed to protect them. So, I feel better knowing that there's somebody who wants to protect kids, that loves our country, and
Yep.
they're at the school with my kids. I feel pretty good about that.
And you should, because
I do.
and this is what we have to do, though. Everybody has to get motivated to do this. And look, I always say, people, like you said, I don't know what to do, blah 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 blah. Listen, I don't expect everyone to be at the forefront like you, or, I mean, you're more the forefront than me, but I'm out there. It's just, we get it, time, we have lives and stuff, but you know what? The thing is that, like I told everyone this last year when we were trying to get Trump in, uh, every little bit helps because small actions lead to large movements. And if everyone can help out, a little bit, that's more than was done before because it gets amplified. I mean, heck,
Yeah.
I'm the same way. If I see litter on the ground, I'll pick it up and I'll throw it in the garbage.
Sure.
I,
Yeah, it's so true, and that's why, like, I actually got a lot of phone calls and messages. I can't even keep up with it, but it's a great problem to have with people saying, "I want to help, but I don't know where to start."
yeah.
And I think everyone seems to think it's bigger than it is. Well, when I started, or when you started, we started small, and it
Yep.
was like, you know what? Here's a meeting. I'm going to go to that meeting. I'm going to stand up for what's right, because that's not right. And it starts there.
Yeah.
So it starts going to your board of ed meetings. Go to your town meetings. If you see some sort of fundraiser in your town, or a lot of these fairs, right,
Mhm.
have legislators there, or people running for county commission, talk to them and
Yes.
say, hey, I don't know where to get started.
Right.
Join a Moms for Liberty group. I have a whole list of things we need help
Mhm.
with,
Yeah.
because we're only, one person or two people. Our chapter is quite large, actually, but
Yeah.
we could always use more help. I mean, right now, we're doing weekly or even 2 times a week Zooms, helping kids start turning point chapters. And we need help, getting those kids names and getting them to reps. And there's so much that we can all do. And so I understand that it can be, a little intimidating, or I'm not sure where to start, but start small,
Yep.
because that's what we need. We need that, you know because it takes everybody, not just the president, not just FBI. Like, we need every single stage, right? We need that
Yep.
filled and people helping out. So
Grassroots.
that's it. I
Grassroots.
mean, like, grassroots, exactly. I had somebody who I said, hey, we're doing a thing of peppercorns in town
Yeah.
Wednesday night. Stop in. Well, I don't know anybody. You don't need to know anybody. You're talking to me. Come and say
Mhm.
hi. I'll introduce you to everybody. That's it. That's all you need.
That's it.
And it starts there. Yeah. So just, not talking about it, but action. We need action.
Yes. Yeah. Making posts, complaining about it. Okay, great. It makes you feel better. But you know what? I'd rather you go out there, knock on a door, go to a meeting, get involved, make phone calls, whatever it is, or send an email. The thing is that, what we need to do is, and I know you're really good at this, we'll put together a short email that we can send with a phone
Yep.
number because you know what? We have to get Josh Gottenheimer on this. Um,
Yep.
yeah, I saw him at Mawa Day, and
Yes.
I had my
I
Jack
heard it
for
was
governor.
fun.
Yeah, I had my Jack for governor shirt,
Yep.
and I grabbed his hand. I go, "Hey, Josh, how do you like my shirt?"
But see, you brought that up, like Mawa Day or some sort of fair. That's a
Yeah.
great place to go and just like, hey, I'm so and so, and I'd like to
Hmm.
get involved and help out. And I mean, you brought up another great thing. Like, we need to get out and vote, and people don't realize how important. I'll tell you, I was at the debate the other night,
Hmm.
listening to her lie and not understand what New Jersey needs.
Yeah.
And the fact that she's not going to allow, she flat out said, I'm not going to allow New Jersey families to opt out of any LGBTQ courses. She's right now, we have that. We're allowed to opt out of that.
Hmm.
She's going
Hmm.
to take that away.
Yeah.
She is going to push vaccines, whether you want them or not. They're already sneaking through amendments to the bill to
Yeah.
allow schools to make that decision whether they're going to accept that or not. How much pressure do you think these schools are going to feel if she's governor? They're going to feel it hard, hard, hard. All of a sudden, that religious exemption is not going to be taken anymore.
Yeah.
Guys, this is as important as the presidential election that we just had, if not more,
I
especially
would
if you live
say,
in New Jersey.
yeah, because you know what, politics are local, and this is our state, you know.
Yep.
So
Yep.
we really have to take this into consideration. You know,
Not even consideration.
no, no,
We
I mean
need,
like,
like, everybody
yeah,
needs to listen,
yes,
learn, and vote.
And honestly, well, there's only one way to vote, and honestly, it's a vote for Jack. I mean, anything else
Yep.
is just a vote for this demagoguery and draconian law being forced down our throats. We saw how that's worked out. You know,
Correct. And I did have some great conversations with him and his campaign as well, because I know that he did say during the debate that he, is for the vaccine schedule, and that's okay. Everyone has their right to their opinion,
yeah,
but he also does believe in medical freedom and your right to choose and
right,
transparency. And so that's very important for people to understand. We fight in this fight. A lot of people will say, just take them away, just take them away. I'm like, no, because now you're taking away someone's right to choose.
yes,
But there
there you
needs
go.
to be, even though we don't vaccinate, that's okay. That's my right to choose,
Mhm,
because I read the inserts and I know what they do. And so
mhm.
I made a fully informed decision as a parent to not vaccinate myself or my kids, because that was my decision. However, parents may want that right to do that, but it needs to be truthful and transparent. They need to understand what's been added into these vaccines that wasn't in them many, many years ago.
Right,
They
they're
need to
different.
understand that there's not 8 of them, that there's 70, whatever,
Right,
72, 76, whatever it is, and why. They need to understand that it's not so much the Tylenol, but it's the Tylenol right after taking the vaccine. That's the issue.
yep,
And now the body's not able to detoxify, so they need the truth, and that's why we're fighting. I don't want to take away your right to choose. We live in America. You should have that right to choose, but know the truth about it. They need to be transparent about it, and if they're lying to you, they need to be liable about it.
yeah,
So those are the things that we need to fight for. And luckily, we've had those conversations with him, and that he said, no, you need to have the right to choose.
yeah,
That's very important. School
mhm,
choice is important.
mhm,
Understanding that not all kids learn the same way and need different school environments is important.
yep,
Getting our taxes back to send those kids to those proper schools is important, and you're not going to get that with her.
no,
So guys, it's just like the Trump, when we said, okay, we're going to take 14 people to vote. Okay. You need like 30 people. Bring like your entire road, your entire, neighborhood
yeah,
to
yeah.
go vote, because what we saw in the primary was not good. So I don't know if like New Jersey doesn't know that there's a gubernatorial race going on, but they need to figure it out fast.
Well, last time, I think it was only 43% of the registered voters voted in the gubernatorial election, and we
Yeah.
barely lost. So, um, so things that we have to shut
Wink,
up.
wink.
Yeah.
Yes, and well, that's it, guys. That's it. And I've heard some people say that they're just not going to go and vote, and I would just say to them, well, then you're basically voting for her.
Yes.
So, guys, that is not. That is not. You cannot do that. That is not an
No, it's not
option.
acceptable.
Not
Not
voting is not
acceptable.
an option.
I you know
You
what?
know.
I'm not. I don't want to leave my children's safety in the hands of people who are too lazy to go out and vote.
Right.
Get up, go
Right.
vote. Get
No,
up,
just
go.
vote. I mean, listen, there are so many. There are debates. It's on my page, so people, and it's kind of all over the place. You can find it on YouTube,
Yeah.
rewatch the whole thing.
Mhm.
You can actually hear the audience too, and
Yes.
how they feel about some of these answers.
Oh,
You can feel the temperature of New Jersey in
oh
there,
yeah.
and people
Oh
are
yeah.
sick and tired of being lied to. They're sick and tired of not being able to afford in this state, to live in this state. They're sick and tired of having 2 or 3 jobs.
Mhm.
Moms, or at least one parent, can't even be home after 3 to be present with their kids because they barely can afford their home or their taxes.
Yeah.
The kids are miserable in school. Only a third of college high school students are ready for college. Only 22 are proficient in math, 35 proficient in English. So this is completely unacceptable. What are they doing for 7, 8 hours a day in these schools? Well, we know they're
Yeah,
learning about
mindfulness
pronouns,
training,
mindfulness, pronouns,
yeah,
don't misgender me.
yeah,
And then these kids are going to school, they're getting into these schools somehow, and then they're not doing well. and
Nope.
then they're have what $300,000 in debt, and then they can't find jobs to pay the debt off. What are we doing to these kids? Like, we have to stop this.
Yes.
So, there's so much going on in New Jersey. Like right now, it's pick a battle and get behind it.
Yeah. 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 There's a lot of them. There's a lot
There's
to
a
choose
lot of
from.
them.
Yeah.
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 You
I
don't
mean,
have to do all of them.
no,
Take
no,
one
no.
and run with
Take
it.
one and run with it. Yeah. So it's like, I know we got, next, week and a half, next month and a half, or actually less now. It's going to be driving forward,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of rallies. There's a lot of meet and greets. We still have vigils going on. We have a really large one, October 10th in Wildwood.
Mm-hmm.
So I encourage everyone to come out and talk to people and
Yep.
make those relationships, network, make friends. The experiences or the events are out there. So you just have to pick one and get out there. And everyone in our movement seems to be, I think, pretty down to earth and nice. So just say hi
Yeah.
and say, I need help.
Yeah. I'll tell you, it's, I mean, even we were both at the last one, Wednesday night. It was incredible. The America First event. Oh my God. That was just
That was
moving.
impressive.
It
Yes.
was. It
There was a
was.
lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, they had to move it because there wasn't enough room at the original venue.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
just shows, and I'll tell you what, this was actually very surprising to me.
Mhm.
Westwood just had one that had, like, I want to say 600 or 700. I think I saw the
Yeah.
number.
Wow.
That's really impressive because Westwood,
Smart.
from the Board of Ed meetings, can be pretty woke. So I think what we're seeing here is, Charlie really touched kids, and this is why, he was sought after, went after.
Yep.
Children listened to him, and he touched everybody in a different way.
Yeah.
And a lot of people actually who once felt a certain way or once was liberal or once actually made that change after hearing him talk, because he always showed that person respect and always had a open, honest conversation with them. Didn't yell at them. There was no
No.
anger, didn't put them down, but just really wanted to know how to help them and sort of heal their heart a little bit,
Yeah.
because a lot of these kids were really hurting and needed help. And that's what we're seeing, putting these chapters together, helping Turning Point, because the kids they want that support.
Yes.
And even though it's taking, like right now, I saw Zach, who runs all the high school chapters in New Jersey. Now our calls are open to all states, and we get reps from all states on there. But obviously, I'm a little bit more in touch with what's happening in New Jersey,
Mhm.
and he has 4,000 submissions just for high school chapters that he's working through. Just this last week alone, I think it was 50. No, I'm sorry. I think it's 50 or 60 chapters so
Yeah.
far, but just in the last week alone was 20 new ones.
Wow.
So he is reaching out and getting to everybody and setting them up, but obviously 4,000 is a lot. So the great thing about the Zooms are the kids make friends with each other.
Right.
And they get each other's phone numbers, and they get their questions answered, and they start to feel some hope and like, okay, I'm not the only one. There's a lot of us here.
Yep.
And that's New Jersey, which is a blue state.
Yeah.
So, I think we're on a great,
Trajectory.
path.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the word
Yeah.
I was trying to think of. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we are, as long as we get Jack in this
Yes.
November.
Yeah. It
So we need
hinges
to
on that.
talk to everyone.
It
Yeah.
hinges on that. He's got to get in. And so I'm personally reaching out to people too. Like as
We
soon as
have to, or we're gonna have to buy like a commune and all like live out of state. I
Yeah.
don't know. I
Yeah.
mean,
Well, I got a great spot, but I'm not ready to go.
Florida. Let's all go to
Yeah.
Florida.
I'm not ready to go yet, but
Oh no, listen,
my
we're
work's
gonna
not
sit
done
here
here.
and fight. We're gonna sit here and
Yeah.
fight. But if she gets in, your kids are gonna be learning about pronouns and wokeness and sexually inappropriate things. They're not gonna be able to opt out of it. You might be forced to vaccinate, but don't ever let that happen. If you don't want it to happen, do not let that happen.
Nope.
And you're not gonna have a lot of say if she gets in.
Yeah.
So that's how important this is. So no, we're gonna stay and fight. But if she gets in, then we might have to talk about a Florida commune. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Just saying. Just
Might
throwing
have
it
to.
out there.
Just rolling it out there. We might have to do that. I've already warned my husband. I'm like, get ready to really fight, because this is what's happening if this is what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. So how can people get in touch with you?
Yeah, so I'm gonna work on. Actually, already started working on some of the talking points, but we're going to
Yeah.
continue with that.
Mhm.
We'll either have that out tonight or definitely by tomorrow. Some sort of
Mhm.
call to action.
Yep.
But momsforliberty.org, Moms for Liberty Bergen County, Facebook, Instagram, X, LinkedIn, you name it, we're on it. So you can either
Mhm.
look up Alexandra Bauer or Moms for Liberty Bergen County, New Jersey. Or if you're not from our county, feel free to reach out as well. I have no
Yeah.
problem with that. Or if you want to look for your county, then it's momsforliberty.org. There's a cute little map. You tap it and it tells you if there's a county there.
Yeah.
So, definitely reach out for help. We need the boots on the ground. So
Yeah.
please, don't be intimidated. Even a phone call, or if you're strong, in writing, I'm always on the go. So anybody that can, write something, that's so helpful.
Yeah.
So
Well,
anything, please
let me
reach
know if you
out.
need me. Let me know if you need me to write something up for this. Let me see what you have, and then I'll definitely,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, I would love to. Let's
okay.
definitely get
Yes,
that
hit me
together
up.
because I think I'm out of the house today until like 9. So
Okay. All right. Yeah. So yeah, yeah. Hit me up. We'll take care of it. Tomorrow, I guess, or whatever.
okay,
Let me know.
let's do
Okay.
that.
All right.
Awesome.
Awesome. All right. Great. Thanks for listening, folks, and don't forget, check out Alex Bauer and Moms for Liberty and get involved out here. Strength and honor.